Listen up. We've all been there. It's 3 p.m. You're stuck in another mind-numbing meeting, and your eyelids are drooping more than you want to admit. You think about grabbing another cup of coffee, but you know it's just going to make you jittery, and you're going to have a crash later on. That, guys, is where mud water comes in. It's like coffee's laid-back cousin, packed with the good stuff. Chai, cacao, lion's mane, chaga, reishi, cordyceps, turmeric, cinnamon, the works. All the energy, none of the shakes. With mud water, you are going to feel focused, energized, and ready for whatever the day throws at you. No crashes, no jitters, and guys, it is totally organic. Non-GMO, vegan, kosher, gluten-free, you name it. I'm talking no sugars, no sweeteners, just that raw, earthy kick that you need. Plus, it won't keep you wired when it's time to wind down. And I've even gotten to the best part. Guys, this is incredibly easy to make. Scoop, stir, drink. You're back in the game. Head over to mudwater.com, grab a starter kit, use the code Chael. That'll save you over 40% and free shipping. Plus, we're going to throw in a rechargeable frother. That's right, over 40% off at mudwater.com. Just use the code Chael. And when they ask, tell them you heard it from the bad guy. Stay sharp, stay steady, and dominate your day with Mudwater. Alex Pereira is just simply can't miss on social media. He has never put out a piece that doesn't work. He has never put out a piece that is not interesting. And he returned to his tribe. He had the war paint. He had the garb. And he's shooting a bow and arrow. And he did something very interesting. He shot the bow and arrow, and the second it left his hand, he went charging what he shot at. I actually didn't know that about bow and arrows. I haven't seen guys do that. The Americanized version where they do, they're usually hiding. They're on a turkey hunt or something, they're hunting, and they're quiet. They stay right here. They stay right here in case they need to draw back again. Pereira shot and went running towards the target. I just found that part to be interesting, but he's also looking the part. Somebody films it, somebody puts it out on social media. I reposted it and I simply said, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're in trouble and you get to choose one person to come get you, choose me. But if you get to choose two people, Pereira could become very helpful. He's got a very interesting set of skills. Can we agree on that? So, Ankalaev reposts that, and it's a picture of him. Horseback, I believe he's on a stallion, and he's in the mountains. And Ankalaev just posts the picture and says, I live in the mountains. That guy lives in Connecticut. It was great. It was simple. It was playful. It was G-rated, and it was very funny. That is very funny. And both of them succeeded on their social media to a degree because they offered a visual. Like seeing Pereira back with his tribe, which is just cool, right? A guy makes it, he becomes this big deal. He returns to Brazil. He actually returns to the tribe, which looks like a rougher way of living than what a multimillionaire famous guy would have to do, which there's just something cool about that. But then you have a very authentic Ankalaev. I mean, we don't have very many teams out there, guys. We have people that associate with a team or a club, but they'll float and they'll move, and there's not a lot of loyalty. And sometimes they float or move because they think they can get something better somewhere else, so they feel that they've gotten everything they could out of this, but they weren't loyal, they weren't connected, they weren't brothers, they weren't an actual team. A lot of times the fighter moves for reasons you don't even know, which is largely he stiffed a couple of guys in the gym that he was supposed to pay. I mean, that's the part that you never get told. He gets a foot in the ass, the coach keeps his mouth shut, the managers keep their mouth shut, but that's the real truth where you start seeing these fighters float. But before I go down that road, I'll just share for you, well, we don't have very many teams. We do there. Khabib and his father gets the credit, but right now it's Coach Nurmagomedov Jr. Man, he can keep the band together. And he does not go out and recruit. And why others have been able to break in or be welcomed, Khabib does not recruit like other coaches do. You got to come to him, at which point he has welcomed a few guys. Muhammad comes to mind. But these guys actually live in the same area. So one of the problems that I have with pro sports, right? I'm a pro sports hater. A lot of that comes from jealousy, though, but some of it comes from a genuine confusion. I don't understand how you can get a city to care about you and have an actual pride when the city does well. How you could feel good. I wish that I had that. I went to the University of Oregon, which is now currently ranked #1 for football. I feel nothing. I couldn't imagine feeling anything. I don't talk to people and say we or our. I knew people that did that when I went to the college. I know people that had season tickets and they would come to the games. They would come and they would be at the games. And they graduated 30 years before. I thought they were weirdos. Every one of them I thought was weird. They come and they have their little Oregon t-shirt on and they're going to sit in the front row. I thought they were weirdos. You're cheering for a bunch of kids who don't know you, who, by the way, will break into your car and take your radio later tonight if they're given the opportunity. Like, these aren't even good guys, but they're also not your guys. And on the pro level, it's even higher. You have a bunch of whores. They'll be with this guy today, but if this guy's willing to pay him, they'll be with him tomorrow, and they don't feel bad about it. They don't say sorry. They don't even say, I miss you and thank you for the memory. So I never understood how people can really get behind it. I'm just sharing. This is personal, but I can't understand that. The Portland Trailblazers, for example. I don't know of a single guy on that team that grew up in Portland. There could be someone. I don't know of a single person on that team who grew up in Portland. You're not really the Portland Trailblazers. You're a basketball club that plays out of Portland. There's a massive difference, but those arenas are sold out. And there's Chael outside looking around with his hands in his pockets. Everybody's inside having a great time. I mean, I do get jealous of it. I wish that I had that. But I don't. And I bring that to you because Khabib's team is truly a team. Ankalaev is truly with that team. Like, there is not a question in any of your minds. None of you. Zero. That regardless of winning or losing, that the following day, Ankalaev isn't still in the mountains on that horseback with his team. It's a very cool thing, and they don't get credit for it, and they should. They don't get recognized for it, and they should. When Ankalaev went after Pereira, and it's Pereira specifically, and Ankalaev is starting, and it's this great big tree. To get that sumbitch down, you got to take a lot of chops at it. But he is. He is. He started with Pereira. Okay? Just started with him. Never mentioned the title. Started with Pereira. Then he went to the title. Now, not only does he want to beat Pereira, he finally brings the title in, which means he wants to take the thing that Pereira's got. That's mean. That's cold. Pereira's got a family with kids. He needs that title. He needs the sponsorship. He needs that participation. Ankalaev doesn't care. He will take it from him. I love that. There is nobody that becomes a champion that does not have a black heart, at least to a degree, because you have to not care about that guy's dreams. His sacrifices and his hard work, you have to be able to come in and take it all from him. So I liked the order that Ankalaev went in. He started with Pereira the person, and then he went to his title. Then Ankalaev went to his style. And this was the one that Ankalaev had a hard time getting over. I wasn't personally that into it. I didn't personally understand it. I haven't seen that done very many times before. I've never seen it done successfully, where you come in and you argue style. I have the style to beat your style. In fact, what you're best at, that's what I'm going to come out and do with you, and I'm going to do it better than you. And then Ankalaev went out and proved it in his last fight. At least he proved his willingness. Ankalaev tried a grand total of 0 wrestling. Ankalaev succeeded at a grand total of 0 wrestling because he did not try it. He did not try 1 second, literally, of grappling and or jiu-jitsu. He went and stood exactly what he said he does well, exactly what he said he will do to Pereira, the person that he wants to fight, for the title that he covets most, and he wants to show the weakness and holes within the punches, the kicks, the style. He wants to take everything from him. Alex Pereira is known as the greatest striker in the UFC. Alex Pereira, to many, is known as the greatest striker in the history of the UFC, which he just might be. Ankalaev is going to leave him with nothing. He's going to take his kickboxing credentials, he's going to take his belt, he's going to take his name, and all of a sudden, step by step, chop by chop, that fight is getting more and more interesting.